Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
This is the closing bell on the Stock Movers Report. The companies making moves at the close of U.S. trading with Carol Massar, Tim Stenovec, Romaine Bostick, and Scarlett Fu.
S&P 500, most names in the index lower today. 358 to the downside, Katie, 145 to the upside.
Yeah, let's take a look at the sector breakdown here. A lot of red to talk about. You have big tech is the biggest decliner on a points basis when you take a look at sectors. Consumer discretionary also taking a big hit as well. If you are looking for a bright spot, there's a little bit of green there in healthcare. A lot of that coming from Eli Lilly. There's a plan that U.S. health officials are considering to expand Medicare weight loss coverage to GLP-1s. So you can thank Eli Lilly for that little bit of green on the circle, Carol.
That's mostly a tomato that is largely ripe. I'm just going to say that. Let's get to some of the individual gainers. And there are some big ones, which reminds us that even in a market where there's volatility or it's down on the day, that there can be some outperformance. Always happens. So I'm going to go to what is the top gainer in the S&P 500. Ticker is MPWR. We're talking about Monolithic Power Systems. This stock soaring in today's session, up about 10.5% here at the close. It's a semi-device company, $37 billion market cap. It did come out with its second quarter results, and they did beat expectations. They also gave an outlook that was above the analyst consensus. It's a stock that's been outperforming this year. It's up more than 30%. First Solar. Who'd have thunk? This one, too, is the third best performer in the S&P 500, up as much as 8.5% earlier in the session, finishing the day with a gain of about 5.3%. The renewable energy company boosting its net sales forecast for the full year. We got these numbers after the close last night. TD Cowen raising its price target to $220 from $200. Stock closing just below $184 a share. The CEO coming out and on the earnings call said First Solar is in a greater position of strength after the passage of President Trump's tax and spending law than it was following Joe Biden's landmark 2022 climate law. He says he sees the Trump law driving demand for its domestically produced solar panels and says that the law places restrictions on manufacturing tax credits for products tied to China. So something to remember amid this tariff trade war, if you will. And then got to mention Reddit. Thank you so much for Tim saying you got to do this one. It's up about 17.5% after the close here. The company reported its most profitable quarter to date and projected third quarter sales that far surpassed analyst expectations, signaling the strength of its growing ad business. One analyst at eMarketer said Reddit is finally figuring out how to monetize eyeballs, not just accumulate them. So investors definitely like this one. Tim?
Okay, some of the gainers. I got some decliners here. I want to start with Amazon because shares fell today 8.3%. The company shed over $200 billion in market cap just today. Amazon projected weaker than expected operating income and trailed the sales growth of some of the cloud rivals that we've already heard from. Andy Jassy, the company's CEO, remember, he was in charge of AWS until a few years ago. He said it was, quote, very early days in AI, and that the company's efforts to lower the cost of running AI apps would draw more customers over time. We spoke to Laura Barton over at Needham a little earlier in our program. She said it was very strong revenue growth, very strong EPS and margins, but that tepid guidance really got investors. Also some concern about the next shoe to drop when it comes to tariffs. Moving on to Apple, shares fell 2.5%, but earlier in the session up as much as 2.9%. The company did report its fastest quarterly revenue growth in more than 3 years. Revenue rose 9.6% to $94 billion in the fiscal third quarter. The number of iPhones and the amount of money brought in from iPhones just blew past expectations, more than $4 billion to the upside there. Still, shares fell 2.5% today. And finally, Coinbase shares down close to 17%, 16.7% to the downside. The company did report lower than estimated second quarter revenue amid a drop in digital asset market volatility.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.